spare Mara. So he forces him to take to the forest and show the leaf. After the treatment, he never got a boil again. The author concludes that this medicinal creeper is so unique. They find if it is milk, it has to flow or it has to spill down. Hello, Namaste. This is Shobita S. Aradhya, Lecturer, Department of English, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Mysuru, a temple of excellence. Welcome back to the second session of Around a Medicinal Creeper. So today we'll see or we'll go on knowing more stories told by Mara. In the last session we saw that he was telling about the creeper. He tied the tendrils to the nearby tree, and the writer was very curious, and he said the same stories to his friends who were doctors, but those people, they laughed at him and called the writer only as ignoramus, right? So we'll see what happens next. What are the marvelous stories that Mara has told the writer? So let us start with the story. Here this story is no blood, no wound. So once there was wound on Mara's hand, but when he went to the doctor, by that time there was no wound, there was no blood marks. How did this happen? All this was because of the leaves of those creeper. Let us see what happens. One day, Mara, while cutting the bamboo shoot, he thrust his hands through the bamboo cane and accidentally cut his hand. So he was cutting the bamboo cane. By that time he thrust, means it rubbed his hand, and he cut his hand. As it was on the wrist, it was heavily bleeding. So what he did, he goes to the doctor. But before going to the doctor, something happens there. It started bleeding profusely, and someone brought some leaf. Some of the around there who were others who were working there, they brought from some leaf and they pressed it against the wound. That leaf was pressed around the wound and bandaged it with a cloth. Bandaged it with some cloth which was available there. So a leaf was put on the wound and a bandage was done. Mara went to the white man at the Hulihindalu. Hulihindalu is a village name. For dressing and treatment. For further dressing and treatment, he goes to the doctor, a white man, a white doctor. When the white man opened the bandage, the doctor has to open the bandage and see. So there was a worn out cloth tied to the wound. So when he opens the bandage and removed the leaf was pressed on the wound. So when he removes the leaf, there was no blood, no wound. There was no blood, no mark of blood, and no mark of even the wound. But Mara was taken to the doctor saying that he had cut his hand and it was profusely bleeding. It needs treatment and dressing. But when the doctor opens, there was no wound, there was no blood. Now doctor got angry saying, "Are you kidding? Are you here to joke or make fun of me? Where is the wound? You have come without any wound. You are trying to waste my time." Doctor got very annoyed. He was very angry on Mara. So there was verbal fight between Mara and the doctor. Finally, the doctor asked Mara to show the plant of the leaf in the forest. So it went on. The verbal fight went on very high. And the doctor demands to show that leaf. If that leaf has cured your wound, let me know which leaf is that. So doctor was not in a condition to spare Mara. So he forces him to take to the forest and show the leaf. And Mara, both doctor and Mara, they searched entire day but did not find the leaf. So here, this story makes true that once the leaf is seen by a human, they move, they hide themselves. This story we have heard already by Mara. So this is proven again. So they knew where they were cutting the bamboos and from where the leaf was brought and pressed on his wound. All this was known to the people there. They searched for a whole day with the doctor, but they could not find the creeper there. So the creeper had hid itself. So doctor, he was very angry. He thought again it was a story cooked by Mara, and he took his rifle to shoot at Mara. But by that time, some people there somehow they avoided. And here doctor wanted to know about this creeper so eagerly that he says he will give away his land, farming land, to Mara if he shows the doctor that creeper. But Mara, though he was getting a big farmland of the doctor for that creeper, he could not show. The reason is what Mara has already said, that these plants, they hide themselves from the humans. When the writer called Mara's story fabricating, so the writer K.P. Purnachandra Tejasvi, he also tells Mara that your stories are fabricating. You add some colors and all those. It is not the truth. He told another story about mongoose and the cowcal, which know about this plant. So he tells that not only humans, also the birds and animals, they know about these plants, the values of these plants. So what is that story? Let us see the next story, very colorfully narrated by Mara. That is, once he gets his teeth tumbled out. So how all those happens? Let us see here. Once Mara had laid a trap in the forest to catch rabbits. So he had laid a trap for the rabbits in the evening. He waited till morning, and early morning he woke up to see if there are some rabbits in the trap, but he finds the trap empty. So he was disappointed seeing the trap empty after some time. Then what he does, he thought he'll brush his teeth, because he was waiting all night near the trap to get the rabbits. But he was disappointed, and finally he wants to brush his teeth and wash his face in the nearby stream. So this was in the forest. In forest we can find some streams also. This whole story is in the Western Ghats of Karnataka. So there we can see many streams flowing. What he does, he wished to brush his teeth, wash his face in the nearby stream. He broke a small stick from a nearby plant. He broke a stick. In rural areas and in ancient India, there was a practice of cutting the stick of neem tree and biting it first and then brushing teeth using that stick. So this was the practice. As neem is antiseptic, it is very helpful for cleaning the teeth. So like neem tree, he also took a stick of a plant. He bit it for a while, then he got the bristles in the end. So he tried to brush it. So before he does all those, for few seconds, what he puts in his mouth, by that time something happens. He felt a sore taste. So the sore taste of stick, it was not comfortable. He felt it is not good for him. He was not able to keep it for some more time. So what he does, he thought there was something wrong with the stick, and he threw it. He threw the stick instead of brushing all the teeth, and he wanted to rinse his mouth in the stream. He goes and he rinses his mouth. What surprise was waiting there? The surprise was, after churning it around his mouth, he spat it out. So he was using in one side, and then he felt the sour taste of it. He could not bear it for a long time. He threw the stick. He took some water from the stream and he rinsed his mouth. Then what happened? All the teeth which had been touched by the stick tumbled out of his mouth. So which way, in which side he was using that stick, that side all the teeth tumble down. They fall down immediately. So after that, it was true that Mara was not having the teeth in his right side of the mouth. It was truth. It was known by the writer also. How he lost those teeth? For that, this is the story. Okay, and also he tells the story that the cowcal, when it is attacked by snake or if it is bit by snake, even the mongoose, they fight with snake. At that time, if a snake is bit, to rescue themselves from the poison, these mongoose and cowcal, they eat the leaf of this plant. This plant helps them to fight the poison and do not die. So this secret is known to the birds and animals in the forest. This was another fabricating story told by Mara to the writer. So this was about how his teeth got tumbled down. Next, a live wild buck jumps up. So he tells one more story where wild buck was killed by Mara and his friend, and it was shared. The meat was shared between two people, and he carried it in some leaf to house. When he comes and opens the leaf, his wife opens it to cook for it. Instead of meat, a live buck jumps out of their house. So he tries to tell that this leaf has the capacity, the value which can make a dead animal alive. This is too fabricating. This is too far from the truth, too far from practical thinking. But Mara believes it and he tells it was true and has happened in his house. So that story we'll see here now. Long ago, Mara along with his friend laid a trap and caught some barking deer. So in forest we can find barking deer, a kind of deer. They caught a barking deer. After dividing the meat, they wrapped their portions in some leaves and brought them home. So they caught the barking deer, they cut, they cleaned the meat, and the portion, two parts was made, one to his friend, other to Mara. That meat, what they took, it was wrapped in some leaf. So how could they bring it from the forest? They won't be having any bags or all. So they wrapped it in leaf and brought it home. In Mara's house, surprise awaited them as soon as they opened the wrapped leaf, the buck jumped up out of that packet and ran out of the house. Deers are very fast, very swift. So his wife opens the leaf and a live buck comes out of it, jumps and runs away from the house. While Mara was trying to catch it because he had tried a lot, his effort was there in killing that barking deer and bringing it to home. He runs behind the barking deer and his wife ignorantly, without knowing what happened, without knowing the value of the leaf which has brought a dead barking deer into life, without knowing all this, ignorantly she threw the leaves into the fire. She was disappointed because she had prepared all the ingredients to prepare some dish out of the barking deer. But when it jumped out of the house, she was disappointed, and in that disappointment and because of her innocence, ignorance about the values of the leaf, she throws the leaf into the fire. It would have been used for something, or Mara and his wife would have shown to other people the leaf and told them the value of that leaf. But her ignorance, it made her to throw it to the fire. So now they could not get the leaf again, because Mara tells that these plants, they hide themselves from humans once it is seen by a human. Okay, so this is the ignorance. This shows how ignorant people are, and general when they are not informed. So they take it generally. They don't think it is a special leaf, special tree, special plant. They don't think all this. They take it as general. And there is a need to create awareness about our natural resources. Definitely there is need of creating awareness about these natural resources around us, surrounding us. So this was another story by Mara. Next, one more story was told that if these leaves are put or mixed with milk, milk will become hard. So this time the writer wants to test it. How he tests it? Did he get the result what was expected? Let us see. The author once heard from Appanna that if the juice of this creeper's leaves is squeezed into milk, it will turn hard. So Appanna, another helping hand of the writer, he tells the story that if the juice of this leaf is added to milk, milk turns hard like rubber. He was not happy with such stories and wanted to experience on his own. The writer, he was very practical. He did not believe all these stories. He wanted to experience this on his own. So what he does, he along with his plant pathologist friend Chandru took a liter of milk and put the milk and leaves into a mixer and poured the mix into the vessel. So writer Purnachandra Tejasvi, he calls his plant pathologist friend Chandru, and these both, they try to experience this. They experiment with that leaf and the milk. What they do, they put some leaf and some milk into the mixer grinder. They mix it well. After grinding it well, they poured the mixture to a vessel. And they started waiting. They saw it for some time. For a couple of minutes, nothing happened. So, as the narrator had not completely believed the stories told by Appanna also, they were waiting, but nothing happened with the milk. After some time, there was surprise to writer and Chandru, Dr. Chandru. When the writer checked, it had become firm and rubbery. What narrator does is, after some time, he tries to throw it. He tries to throw it out. So when he lifts the vessel, he finds it very thick. He tries to put it down, and at that time, when they inverted the vessel, the whole thing fell out like molded cast. So when he tried to invert the vessel, they find if it is milk, it has to flow or it has to spill down. But now what has happened? The milk has turned hard. So it came out or it fell as a molded cast. It took the shape of the vessel and came out in the same shape. The writer was convinced that this creeper really had some properties. Now the writer was convinced that yes, this creeper has some special properties which is making the milk thick like this, thick and hard like this. So finally, one story has convinced the writer. Okay, this is not the only thing which he experienced. He has told that he took 20 long years to know about this creeper. So one more is there, that is Krishna finds a cure. Krishna, who was a helping hand in the writer's farm, later he leaves that job and he starts running an auto rickshaw. So one day Tejasvi's erstwhile farmhand Krishna came to see him, and when Krishna came to see him, he was pale and breathless. So it was seen in his face that he was not all right. He was ill. He was suffering from some sickness. So he had stopped working in the estate some time ago and was driving a rickshaw. So Krishna had stopped working in the farm, but he was driving a rickshaw in the town. When he changed his job, he started passing blood with his stools. Means he had the problem of piles. Now he was more serious, tired, breathless, and he was wheezing. So he had all these problems. He was passing blood with his stools. He was very much tired. His health condition was serious. He became breathless. He was wheezing. So he was completely not well. He was not completely a normal person. He was suffering from illness. He seemed to have piles. Surgery would be really costliest one. It would mean an expensive treatment to Krishna, as he was driving rickshaw, and that too he could not do properly because of all this illness. This piles needed a surgery according to allopathy, what we call English medicine allopathy. This piles problem needed a surgery, but that treatment was very expensive to Krishna. So what he does, it was very difficult for the man to go through it. Done surgery and resting for some time. Again, there will be no earning to the family. So Krishna was not ready for the surgery. Reasons are, one is it is expensive. The second is he needs rest, and when he is in rest, there will be nobody to earn money to his family. So he was not ready for this treatment, that is surgery. What he does is, Krishna knew a Malayali sadhu, a sadhu from Kerala, priest. Okay, so he knew someone who had treated him on an earlier occasion when he had developed boils. So he had a problem earlier, so that was cured by the Malayali sadhu. What is a boil here? A boil means a bump in the skin which is caused due to the damage in the hair follicles. So he had developed some boils, and for that he had gone to the Malayali sadhu. After the treatment, he never got a boil again. Once it was treated by the Malayali sadhu, he never got the boils again. So he trusted the Malayali sadhu. He goes back to the Malayali sadhu. He went to see the godman again. Now the godman had become very old. He suggested to search the creeper. As the godman, the Malayali sadhu, he himself cannot walk to the forest because he was old. He gives all the description about the leaf plant, and he suggests him to go to the forest and get that done. Krishna had to search for his plant, dig out the tuberous root, mix it with milk and drink the medicine for 5 days. So this suggestion was given by the Malayali sadhu. So Krishna was asked to search the medicinal plant in the forest, then dig out the tuberous root of it, mix that root juice with the milk and drink it for 5 days for the treatment of piles. This was not expensive. Only thing he had to do is search for that plant, get the tuberous root. This was the task in front of Krishna now. He ground this root and drank it with milk. So how did he find? Who helped him? The writer, K.P. Purnachandra Tejasvi, when he gets to know that Krishna is in need of that plant, about which writer had heard all these years, he helps Krishna. He takes him to the place where he had seen this creeper, and there what they do, they ground the root and he drank it with milk. Within a day, his piles improved. In the first dose, within a day, on the day he took, his piles improved and he was completely cured in 5 days. So, without much expense, only the job was to search the root. With that, Krishna, he cured his piles completely. So now he was out of the problem of piles. In addition to these stories, the writer himself experienced the wonderful healing properties of this creeper. So what was the wonderful healing property of this creeper? What did he do? So here, the writer, he ate a piece of the plant's root, and his heel, he had a pain in his heel because of swelling. So it was since many years to him, and that pain disappeared after eating a piece of the plant's root. So while helping Krishna, he thought, I should check it once. He took a piece of the root and ate, and after that he finds that what pain he had in his heels for many years, and it was swollen also, that disappeared. So this makes the writer believe that this plant has really medicinal values. It has all the healing properties in it. So this experience of his own with milk and treating his swollen heels pain had made the writer trust that this creeper has the medicinal value. It has the healing properties in it. So this was about around a medicinal creeper. We got to know many stories told by Mara. Now Mara is not there. We have lost a great personality, K.P. Purnachandra Tejasvi also. But these stories are very fascinating, very interesting, and they are true. So to conclude, the author concludes that this medicinal creeper is so unique that no research is done to know about the full benefits of the plant. He keeps to us, to the readers, to think on that and make some research. For people like Mara, it is of no importance, and native doctors like Malayali Sadhu do not share the information about such medicinal plants. So Mara, he doesn't know the importance. Malayali Sadhu, he knows the benefits, properties and importance of this plant, but he do not want to reveal it. He wants to keep it secret. Then they continue to maintain the myth that if they told others about their medicines, the medicine would lose their potency. This belief is there among the rural doctors who treat. So they think that if the secret of this plant is told to others, the medicinal potency will be lost by the plant. This is a wrong belief among the people. If really they tell and if they help others to identify that plant, definitely this can help many people. This is not done. Hope you, we, all of us do something in this field. So bidding you bye with today's session and conclusion for the lesson, I want to tell you that in the next session, we will be studying a poem, Money Madness, and this is written by D.H. Lawrence. So until the next session, take care, bye-bye and thank you.